Hello, I'm Dr. Henry Wright. I'd like to discuss acid reflux, otherwise known as GERD, is an event in which the gastric acids from the stomach pass through the sphincter muscle from the esophagus into the stomach and then back up into the esophagus, which can produce burning, inflammation. There's many symptoms that come with it. The reason for the reflux, meaning reflux up, is varied. And what I have to say is by no means comprehensive to the myriad of possibilities that produces that weakening of the sphincter muscle. However, acid reflux in my discussion will be primarily concerned with the aspect of fear, anxiety, and stress. The central nervous system, or the involuntary nervous system, it's called the mind-body connection, processes thoughts out of our emotions, our soul, our cerebral cortex, a whole thing upstairs, and transmits this information, be known as our personality characteristics, good or bad. And through the limbic system, these thoughts may not be peaceful to us and have the ability to interfere with balanced homeostasis, or how the body is designed by God to function without interference. So something is interfering, allowing that electrical part of us that holds that sphincter muscle tight suddenly weakens. It's not that it's weak, it's just relaxed, and in a proper sense, allowing the return of gastric acid up and through the esophagus. When we talk about fear, anxiety, and stress, many of us are aware of this term. In fact, we can probably identify the terminology very well: fear, anxiety, stress. But fear, anxiety, stress doesn't speak to us and say, I am fear, I am anxiety, I am stress, you need to pay attention to me. No, it comes through feelings. And sometimes those feelings are things that we just get accustomed to. Some people will say, well, I'm just an anxious person, or I just hold, and all of a sudden we take ownership of parts of our personality, which would include emotions and feelings, that really God did not create. The scripture is very clear that God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So perhaps the reason for the anxiety and fear could be built into maybe we don't feel loved properly. Maybe we feel like we're not at the same level as other people and we feel inferior. Maybe we're in competition with ourself, about ourself and our identity. So that would be the love part of this. However, the Bible says that there is no fear in love. So that, again, it would be a love issue. Fear as torment. This fear now, this torment, would be part of this mind-body connection, which would cause the circuitry of the central nervous system to relax, allowing the sphincter muscle to open, not stay closed like it needs to be. So there's an interferer in our electrical system, our nervous system. But it's beyond conscious thought, even though at times we may be in touch with our feelings and emotions, and usually we run and avoid them through all various types of altered states of consciousness or denial or whatever. But most of the time these feelings are very subtle. And that's why they don't necessarily, GERD is not something you create through the, through the voluntary nervous system. We don't decide to create a relaxation of the sphincter muscle. That would be the wrong concept. That would be voluntary. I'm talking to you because I voluntarily have decided to open my mouth and speak. That's voluntary. Now, if my mouth starts speaking, words come out, and I'm not in control of it, that's a serious problem. And so that will help you understand the difference between voluntary and involuntary. God has created us in the involuntary sense, that our bodies serve us without us having to think about it. So GERD is a malfunctioning of function. That's why that's a good term. A malfunctioning of function. That's like a short circuit. And the short circuit is caused by thought. The other part of this, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, is the power part. Now, I just discussed the love part. But the power part is that fear takes your power away. Faith empowers you. Fear depowers you. Fear creates an atmosphere of loss, expectancy of loss and failure. So that would be something that God didn't create us to be failure orientated, or to feel like we have no power, we have no gusto, we have no ability to have purpose and movement. So these are all things that contribute to this involuntary mechanism that produces this electrical short circuitry, allowing the sphincter muscle to relax and thereby not stay tight like it's supposed to. The other part is God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, a sound mind. Now, if we have fear, anxiety, and stress, we don't have a sound mind. Quite the opposite. See, faith is the expectancy of good things that are going to happen. Fear is the expectancy of bad things that are going to happen. So fear and faith compete with each other. This is a really big thing I want to tell you, that fear and faith compete with each other for your peace. And if fear wins, you have torment. If faith wins, you have no torment. You have a sound mind. And the soundness of your mind now releases a release through the limbic system and the involuntary nervous system, that what God created, what's called balanced homeostasis. That means what's balanced homeostasis? All the body parts are functioning together as one. And sometimes it's here a squirt, there a squirt, electrical impulse, a thought, and we're happy. And when we're happy, our bodies are happy. When we're not happy, our bodies aren't happy either. Because your bodies are a responder to your spirituality and to your personality. And so that may help you understand some of the mechanisms behind acid reflux. You've lost your peace in the areas that I've discussed. And of course, there's more to acid reflux. Sometimes acid reflux can be a secondary syndrome. Actually, acid reflux is a syndrome. It's not a true disease, it's a syndrome. And so there are other things that can contribute to this, as the side effects of drugs, for example. The side effects of disease can be a lot of things that can happen. But I think primarily acid reflux is considered, even in the professions, to be number one, an anxiety disorder. I hope this helps you think through this. If you have enjoyed this presentation, give it a thumbs up. Ring the bell, subscribe, or leave us a comment.